Tonight, federal agents executed a coordinated raid targeting a humanitarian organization accused of operating a child trafficking network.
4:52 a.m. Minneapolis, Cedar Riverside neighborhood. Temperature 8 degrees below zero. The streets were empty. Frost-covered parked cars. Streetlights cast long shadows across silent intersections. Nothing suggested what was about to unfold, but federal agents had been watching for 11 months. Unmarked SUVs rolled through the darkness without headlights. FBI, DEA, ICE, U.S. Marshals. Over 240 agents converging on 18 locations across the Twin Cities. This wasn't routine enforcement. This was Operation Shadow Fortress, a joint task force investigation linking Minnesota fraud networks to Venezuelan narcotics operations with direct ties to Nicolas Maduro's regime. What they found would expose the largest corruption scandal in state history. If you want the full truth, hit like so this story reaches more people. The investigation began 347 days earlier. Houston, Texas. A routine DEA traffic stop turned up 3 kilograms of fentanyl in a Toyota Camry. Standard street-level bust. 2 suspects arrested. 1 encrypted phone seized. Inside that phone, agents found 2,847 messages, wire transfer confirmations, shipping manifests, GPS coordinates, photographs of cash stacks, and 1 name repeated 63 times. Minneapolis. Special Agent Marcus Holloway stared at the data on his screen at DEA headquarters. The amounts didn't make sense. $81.3 million transferred through Minnesota bank accounts in 90 days. Shell companies registered to addresses that didn't exist. Business licenses for operations that had no employees. The Houston bust had seemed small. Street dealers moving product. But the phone told a different story. This wasn't street crime. This was infrastructure. Federal analysts traced the money backward through a maze of financial institutions. Banks in Miami. Shell corporations in Delaware. Offshore accounts in Panama City. Every trail pointed north to Minnesota. More specifically, to Cedar Riverside, the largest Somali community outside East Africa, a neighborhood federal investigators would later describe as operationally compromised. The deeper agents dug, the clearer the picture became. Feeding our future fraud. $250 million stolen from pandemic child nutrition programs. That was the public story making headlines since 2022. 70 defendants charged with creating fake daycare centers and pocketing federal funds meant to feed hungry children. But Operation Shadow Fortress uncovered something darker. The fraud money wasn't being spent on mansions and luxury cars. It was being laundered, moved offshore through cryptocurrency exchanges, then returned through encrypted channels, and used to finance something far worse. Comment exposed below if you're ready for what comes next. March 2025. The FBI established a covert command post in an office building overlooking Lake Street in Minneapolis. 12 agents worked round-the-clock surveillance. Every phone tapped, every transaction monitored, every movement documented. They watched money move in patterns. $50,000 withdrawn in cash from Wells Fargo on Monday. Deposited at currency exchanges on Tuesday. Wired to accounts in Caracas on Wednesday. Then routed back through Miami banks within 72 hours. Classic money laundering. But the volume was staggering, $4.7 million per week. Agent Holloway assembled a case file 1,200 pages thick. Bank records showing impossible transactions. Surveillance photos capturing midnight meetings in parking lots. Intercepted communications discussing shipments and routes. Testimonies from confidential informants who turned against the network. 1 name appeared in 89 separate transactions. Judge Layla Mahid, Hennepin County District Court. Respected, connected, trusted by thousands, and according to federal wiretaps, deeply compromised. Transcripts showed her approving paperwork for organizations under active investigation, dismissing charges against suspects with known cartel connections, expediting visa applications for individuals flagged in DEA databases, delaying warrants that would have exposed trafficking operations. In one recorded call from October 14, 2025, she used a phrase that made investigators freeze. The shipment clears Friday. Venezuelan route confirmed. This wasn't judicial corruption. This was operational coordination. Federal prosecutors reviewing the evidence couldn't believe what they were seeing. A sitting judge wasn't just accepting bribes to look the other way. She was actively managing logistics for international criminal operations. Her courtroom had become a cartel command center. The order came at 4:18 a.m. on December 6, 2025. Execute all warrants. Secure all targets. 0 media leaks until completion. 240 agents mobilized across 18 locations. Judge Mahid's downtown office. community centers in Cedar Riverside, import-export businesses along Hiawatha Avenue, residential properties in Edina and Wayzata. The Minnesota frost hadn't lifted when battering rams struck the first doors. Cedar Riverside erupted in controlled chaos. Flashbangs echoed between apartment complexes. K-9 units swept through buildings 3 stories high. Federal agents in tactical gear moved with precision. No shouting, no warning shots. Room by room. At Judge Mahad's courthouse chambers, the door exploded inward at 5:18 a.m. Glass shattered across marble floors. The American flag beside her desk swayed. An oath sworn, now broken. Hit like if you believe no one is above the law. Agents found her at her desk, calm, almost expecting them. She wore a navy blazer over a white blouse. Her hands were folded. Her expression revealed nothing. Judge Mahad, you're under arrest. She didn't speak, didn't resist, simply stood and extended her wrists. But what agents found in her chambers told the real story. Behind the wood paneling on the east wall, sensors detected an anomaly. Agents removed the decorative panels to reveal a false wall. Behind it, a concealed space 8 feet deep. Inside, $3.2 million in cash, stacked in vacuum-sealed bundles. Denominations of $100. Sequential serial numbers traced directly to banks in Caracas. Ledgers written in code. FF for feeding our future. VS for Venezuelan shipment. CR for Cedar Riverside. And 6 encrypted phones, each connected to different networks. Burner devices rotated every 48 hours. But the most damning evidence was digital. A laptop containing 4,700 emails between Judge Mahad and individuals identified by DEA as cartel intermediaries. Payment confirmations totaling $18.4 million. Shipping schedules spanning 19 months. Safe house addresses across 7 states. One email dated November 14, 2025 stopped investigators cold. 400 packages secured. Route through MSP confirmed. Delivery by December 1st. Packages. Federal agents initially believed it referred to drugs. Fentanyl shipments moving through Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. Standard cartel logistics. They were wrong. At a warehouse on East Hennepin Avenue, thermal imaging detected movement inside a building listed as vacant since 2019. Property records showed no activity, no utilities, no business license. But heat signatures revealed dozens of people. Agents breached the entrance at 5:47 a.m. The reinforced steel door required 3 impacts from the battering ram. Hinges tore from concrete. The door crashed inward. What they found stopped them cold. Type yes to see what was inside. The warehouse interior had been converted into living quarters. Makeshift beds arranged in rows. Portable toilets along the back wall. A single diesel generator providing electricity. No windows. 1 exit. And 450 children, ages 6 to 16. Predominantly East African, some Central American, a few from South Asia, all without legal guardians present. No identification documents. No passports. No birth certificates. They had been trafficked into Minnesota through a network spanning 3 continents. Some had been reported missing from refugee camps in Somalia. Others had disappeared from border detention facilities in Texas. Many had simply vanished from Minneapolis neighborhoods over 18 months. Federal agents found intake logs in a locked office. Children categorized by age, gender, language. Assigned ID numbers. Listed with monetary values. $15,000 for children under 10. $25,000 for teenagers. This wasn't immigration fraud. This was human trafficking on an industrial scale. The children sat silently as agents swept the warehouse. Some cried. Many stared without expression. Trauma counselors arrived within 30 minutes. Interpreters speaking Somali, Spanish, Arabic, and Oromo. Medical teams began preliminary examinations. Malnutrition. Untreated injuries. Signs of psychological trauma. One girl, approximately 12 years old, had scars on her wrists consistent with restraints. Agent Holloway walked through the warehouse in stunned silence. 16 years in federal law enforcement. He'd seen cartel operations, trafficking networks, organized crime syndicates. But never this. Never American officials facilitating the enslavement of children on American soil. If this shocks you, comment justice below. The operation spanned far beyond Minnesota. As agents arrested suspects and seized evidence, a network emerged with terrifying clarity. Maduro regime officials in Venezuela provided diplomatic cover. Venezuelan passports issued to traffickers using fake identities. Cartel routes through Colombia and Mexico refined over decades. Smuggling corridors into Texas through established drug pipelines. Transportation north through interstate trucking networks. Minneapolis had become a hub, central location, large immigrant community, understaffed local law enforcement, and according to intercepted communications, sympathetic officials. Judge Mahad wasn't the only one compromised. Federal indictments revealed 26 individuals with law enforcement or government positions, police officers who ignored missing persons reports, social workers who falsified documentation, immigration attorneys who expedited paperwork without proper vetting, county officials who approved licenses for shell companies, each paid between $50,000 and $200,000 per year. The system functioned with terrifying efficiency. Children arrived through established smuggling routes. Traffickers delivered them to Minneapolis safe houses. Officials ensured no investigations. Buyers paid through cryptocurrency. Children disappeared into exploitation networks across the country. The infrastructure was sophisticated. Encrypted communication platforms, cryptocurrency mixing services, offshore banking through countries with weak oversight, shell companies layered 3 and 4 deep, false identities backed by compromised officials. And at the center, a sitting judge ensuring the machinery never stopped. Federal prosecutors called it the most sophisticated criminal enterprise ever documented in the Upper Midwest. Share this so more people understand what's happening. The children rescued from the East Hennepin warehouse were placed in federal protective custody. FBI victim specialists worked with Department of Health and Human Services. Medical exams revealed conditions worse than initial assessments suggested. Malnutrition wasn't just lack of food. It was deliberate starvation used as control. Untreated injuries included broken bones that had healed incorrectly. Psychological trauma manifested as selective mutism, night terrors, dissociative episodes. Interviews took weeks. Many spoke little English. Some refused to speak at all. Trauma counselors from refugee organizations worked around the clock. Slowly, stories emerged. A 12-year-old boy from Mogadishu described being taken from a refugee camp. Recruiters promised education in America, safety, opportunity. His mother paid $4,000 she'd saved for 5 years. He was flown to Caracas, then Mexico City, then across the Texas border hidden in a produce truck. He spent 3 months in the Minneapolis warehouse, forced to work in a packaging facility assembling counterfeit products. No pay, no contact with family, threats of violence if he didn't comply. A 14-year-old girl from Guatemala explained how recruiters approached her village. They offered transport to America, jobs, the chance to send money home. Her parents paid $8,000 borrowed from relatives. She never saw them again. She arrived in Minneapolis in July 2025, held in rotating locations, moved every 2 weeks. Always warehouses, always locked doors, always men watching. She was told her family would be killed if she tried to escape. The stories were identical. Promises, transport, confinement, exploitation. This wasn't immigration. This was slavery. Type protect if you believe children deserve better. Federal investigators traced the financial network backward. Every payment, every transfer, every offshore account. The pattern became clear. The money originated from pandemic fraud, feeding our future, child nutrition programs, daycare assistance, housing vouchers. Over $250 million stolen from federal programs designed to help children, then laundered through shell companies, moved offshore through cryptocurrency exchanges, returned as clean capital, used to finance trafficking operations. The fraud funded the trafficking generated cash. The cash flowed back into legitimate businesses. A perfect cycle. And at the center, Venezuelan cartel intermediaries coordinating shipments. Maduro regime officials providing protection through diplomatic channels. Minneapolis insiders ensuring operations continued undisturbed. The betrayal cut deeper than financial crime. Every stolen dollar represented a meal not served, a child not fed, a family not helped. And that money financed trafficking, exploitation, suffering. The cruelty was systematic. The raids netted 127 arrests across 9 states: Minnesota, Texas, Florida, California, New York, Arizona, Illinois, Georgia, and Washington. Suspects included diverse profiles: 26 government officials and law enforcement personnel, 41 individuals directly connected to trafficking operations, 33 money launderers and financial facilitators, 19 cartel intermediaries with Venezuelan connections, 8 import-export business owners serving as fronts. Assets seized totaled $347 million. Cash discovered in homes, storage units, and safety deposit boxes. Properties in upscale neighborhoods purchased through shell companies. Luxury vehicles registered to fake identities. businesses generating millions in revenue used for laundering. Cryptocurrency wallets containing Bitcoin and Ethereum traced through blockchain analysis. But the human cost couldn't be calculated. 450 children rescued in Minneapolis. Another 284 recovered in coordinated operations across the country. Some reunited with families after months of separation. Many placed in foster care while immigration status was determined. All facing years of trauma recovery. Communities devastated. Trust in institutions shattered. Neighborhoods left questioning who they could believe. Judge Mahad appeared in federal court on December 10, 2025. The courtroom was packed. Media cameras lined the hallway outside. Federal prosecutors presented a 94-page indictment. Racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy to commit human trafficking, obstruction of justice, wire fraud, immigration fraud. She showed no emotion, declined to speak. Her attorney, Morton Schreiber from a prestigious downtown firm, argued for reasonable bail. She posted $5 million through funds traced to an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. Her trial is scheduled for March 2026. Federal prosecutors are seeking life imprisonment without possibility of parole. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. The case exposed fractures in systems designed to protect, background checks that missed obvious red flags, oversight committees that never investigated suspicious patterns, audits that somehow always came back clean, internal affairs divisions that ignored complaints. For years, Judge Mahad had been living a double life, public servant by day, cartel coordinator by night. And she wasn't alone. The investigation revealed a network of compromised officials spanning multiple states, each recruited carefully through existing connections, each paid handsomely for specific services, each insulated from suspicion by their positions. Police officers received $75,000 annually to ignore reports. Social workers got $50,000 to falsify documents. Immigration attorneys earned $100,000 to expedite paperwork. County officials took $200,000 to approve licenses without scrutiny. The payments were consistent, always through cryptocurrency, always to anonymous wallets, always timed to avoid detection. When judges break the law, who enforces it? When police facilitate trafficking, who protects the innocent? Comment your thoughts below. The Minneapolis case sent shockwaves through federal law enforcement. If it could happen in Minnesota, it could happen anywhere. The FBI launched parallel investigations in 14 other cities: Chicago, Detroit, Seattle, Phoenix, Denver, Atlanta, Houston, Las Vegas, Portland, Baltimore, San Diego, Columbus, Nashville, Newark. Cities with large immigrant populations. Cities with documented fraud. Cities where corruption might be hiding in plain sight. Because Operation Shadow Fortress revealed something terrifying. The infrastructure already exists. Fraud networks steal federal funds. Cartels provide international logistics. Corrupt officials ensure protection. And the vulnerable pay the price. 450 children recovered in Minneapolis. But federal estimates suggest thousands more remain missing nationwide. Children disappeared into systems designed to help them, exploited by networks designed to profit from their suffering. The Maduro connection added a geopolitical dimension. Venezuelan officials providing diplomatic cover for trafficking operations on American soil. Cartel routes refined over decades. Expertise in smuggling drugs applied to smuggling people. And American insiders making it possible. Federal prosecutors described it as narcotics trafficking evolved. Not just moving product, moving people, exploiting vulnerabilities, corrupting institutions. The scale was unprecedented. If you believe justice matters, comment accountability below. On January 8, 2026, ICE conducted a secondary operation in Minneapolis, targeting locations missed in the December raids. An estimated 2,000 federal agents deployed to the Twin Cities. During the operation, an ICE agent fatally shot Renee Good, a 37-year-old woman, during an enforcement action. The shooting sparked immediate protests, investigations, national scrutiny. The incident highlighted tensions simmering since Operation Shadow Fortress. Communities feeling targeted, federal agencies defending their actions, trust eroding on both sides. Agent Holloway reflected in a press conference broadcast nationally. We rescued 450 children. We dismantled a trafficking network. We arrested corrupt officials. And still, communities see us as the enemy. The complexity was undeniable. Yes, fraud occurred. Yes, trafficking happened. Yes, officials were compromised. But enforcement operations also swept up families with no connection to criminal networks, separated parents from children, created fear in communities already traumatized. The line between justice and oppression blurred. And in that gray space, trust disintegrated. The children rescued remain in federal custody, some awaiting deportation hearings, others seeking asylum, many in legal limbo, their futures uncertain. Federal victim assistance programs are overwhelmed, counselors stretched thin, resources inadequate for the scale of trauma. These children survived trafficking. Now they face bureaucracy. The system that failed to protect them now struggles to help them. Share this video so more people know the truth. The Feeding Our Future fraud case continues through courts. Over 70 individuals charged. Trials scheduled through 2027. The amount still staggers investigators. $250 million stolen from child nutrition programs. Money meant to feed hungry children during a pandemic, instead funding international criminal operations. The betrayal cut deep. Community leaders who championed nutrition programs revealed as fraudsters. Nonprofits designed to help children used as money laundering fronts. Every stolen dollar represented meals not served, children not fed, families not helped, and that money financed trafficking. Judge Mahad's case became a symbol, a trusted official, a gatekeeper in the justice system, sworn to protect, instead facilitating harm. Her chambers, where justice should have been dispensed, hid $3.2 million in cartel cash. Her rulings, which should have upheld law, instead enabled criminals. Her position, which should have represented integrity, became a tool for exploitation. The damage spread through communities like poison. If a judge can't be trusted, who can? Federal investigators continue following leads. The network extended beyond what Operation Shadow Fortress exposed. Financial trails lead to accounts in 17 countries. Encrypted communications suggest additional trafficking routes through Canada. Intercepted messages reference operations in Europe. This wasn't a Minnesota problem. This was a global network with a Minnesota hub. And dismantling one hub doesn't destroy the network. Agent Holloway's team estimates they've exposed 40% of the operation. The rest remains hidden. New routes being established. New officials being recruited. New children at risk. The fight is far from over. Federal funding for human trafficking investigations remains limited. Task forces understaffed. Resources spread thin across competing priorities. Meanwhile, cartels adapt. Networks evolve. Vulnerabilities are exploited. For every official arrested, 2 more might be compromised. For every child rescued, 10 more disappear. The math is brutal. This is only the beginning. Hit like if justice is worth fighting for.